What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the War Report. I'm Inevitable, and today we're bringing you all of the top moments and highlights from last week's Community Clash Grand Finals. That's right, we had the World Championships between Das Anfall and Mercenaries. Das Anfall representing the North American side of things here, a Vanu outfit from the Matherson server. Mercenaries are European champions, a new conglomerate outfit from Miller. Boy, these two teams went at it. We have a lot of highlights, a lot of great action to go through. But before we get to that, for those of you who are joining us for the first time here at the Grand Finals, let's take a look at the format of the Community Clash and break things down for you. Of course, it's 16 teams in the tournament with 8 teams on each side. 8 in the North American bracket, 8 in the European bracket. Each team consists of 24 players, and it's a single elimination bracket, meaning one loss and you're out. There are 2 halves of 45 minutes each. And of course, the team with the most points, of course, you earn points by capping bases, and the team with the most points at the end of the half wins the round. Of course, this match today is fought on the Amerish lane, and it's the green map of Amerish here with lots of hills and valleys. Quite an exciting lane to fight on. It's got 5 bases with 1 neutral territory in the middle there at Chimney Rock Depot. That is worth 2 points. The 2 bases on either side of that also worth 2 points. And then we get to each team's home base at the end of the lane, the 2 tech plants there. They're each worth 5 points. And capping that will end the half. And as I said already, of course, the team with the most points at the end of the half, or at the end of the entire game, wins the matchup. And now, let's take a look at the road our 2 champions took to get to this point. Das Anfall on the North American side of things here faced off against 3 Vanu outfits, dropping Purple Smoke in the first round on Indar. They had a pretty good time of it there. Were able to advance without too much difficulty, but in the second round against Future Crew on Estamir, it went to overtime. One of our only overtime match of the season, and it was quite a nail-biter throughout, going all the way, as I said, to overtime. Before they faced off against No Nonsense Gamers in the regional finals, and that was also fought on Amerish. So we saw them there previously, got to see them fight a little bit, and of course they did take down No Nonsense Gamers there to move on to the finals. So we'll take a look now at Mercenaries. They faced off against Indestructible Phoenix team in Indar on the first round, and also seemed to have a pretty easy time of it there, going with a perfect game, capping all of the bases in both halves before moving on to face off against an NC outfit on Estamir in the second round. They did likewise there. It was a pretty easy road until they got to the regional finals, where they faced off against the Terran Republic's In Elite, a fellow Matherson team, in a match that ended 4-2 in the Mercenaries' favor, one of our closest fought matchups. So you can see both of these teams, had they had some easy matches, and then they had one really, really close matchup. So it definitely, we weren't sure how they're going to stack up, but it's quite a lot of exciting, lot to look forward to going into it. But of course, for those of you who want to get in on the action, make sure you go to ps2comclash.com to get all of the information, the brackets. You can sign up there for Season 2, of course. That's ps2comclash.com, C-O-M-M clash.com. And to get in on the action, go to twitch.tv/planetside2 and twitch.tv/planetside2 Europe. Now, as I said, there's a lot of action today, right? You've got Das Anfall on the one hand, Mercenaries on the other. Now, these are a European outfit with Mercenaries and a North American outfit with Das Anfall facing off. We weren't exactly sure how things would play out. So there were 2 champions. They had a hard road to get here. And it was action-packed. They came out swinging, just like, a champion boxer would do. They'd come out of the gate, and they hit each other hard from the get-go. It was a high-octane matchup all the way through. One of the big questions we had to look in, and see what was going to happen with the air game. Das Anfall has a very, very strong air game. They started out as an infantry outfit, but they added on to that with a lot of specialized pilots. A lot of pilots that spent a lot of time in the cockpit. So could the Miller pilots stand up to that? On the ground, likewise, Mercenaries looked very strong with their coordinated max play with smoke. Would Das Anfall be able to counter that? Would they be able to use the terrain to their advantage as they have in the past matchups? As I said, they started as an infantry outfit, Das Anfall did. So, the question is, which team's air unit's going to be stronger? How are they going to be on the ground? And whose game plan is going to win? Who's going to be able to take the initiative and keep it throughout the matchup? So as we look at this first half here, definitely see how this first minutes play out. As I said, they come out swinging, and it kind of sets the tone for the entire matchup. It's definitely high octane all the way through with a lot of great moments. So, with that being said, let's get in on the action.
Immediately, we've got one Reaver Bravo 7 here just heading past. Scythe flying for the Sunfall directly at Chimney Rock. Now, where is this Reaver going? I feel that he actually wants to go immediately for Yoka Chemical. Yup, he's gonna jump out. It's an infiltrator. There he is. He's gonna hack those light bridges and immediately turn them into NC. Now, that's gonna take the Sunfall some time. Why it's surprising right now is just how the air battle is going, because those Scythes for the Sunfall are just ripping into the Reavers that Mercenaries is bringing out, and it seems that Mercenaries is actually getting beaten quite badly in the air so far. They were holding some Reavers back, but most of the ones that went forward just got completely obliterated.
Alright, we're seeing a little, like about a half a squad of MYC coming onto the A point. They have about
oh yeah, here comes MCY. Here comes MCY with their maxes, of course, bringing them in. Smoke goes down. They're going to clear that room. They've got some squishy still up. The one max is alive inside the room. 2 maxes now in. And they're flipping the point. And that was almost a 2-minute mark. Fable 2-minute mark. It's almost set to... Yep, here we go. Let's turn around. And they're flipping it for MCY now with 2 minutes 20 left.
And we've known them in the past to continually put down that smoke, so I think you're going to be able to see that throughout the evening here.
Or are you going to see something?
Oh, here we go. This is what they've always done. In the past, I've watched this. Last week, we saw them pull in a Vanguard, and they kind of utilized this Vanguard to clear the area outside of the A point, giving them a little bit of a buffer. But looks like Das Anfall was quick on that. They C4'd it, took it out, and it is gone.
Yeah, and Mercenaries is doing the usual thing, which is just being a wall of steel, sitting in that room and holding it against all odds. They don't actually, it seem to have any kind of respawn points right now, apart from a single spawn beacon that's way to the south. But they're holding it, they're sitting in the point, they've got 1.5 minutes left, and they're not letting Das Anfall get in here. Smoke is being popped down, everybody gets back up. Maxes are immediately being rest once they go down.
And Das Anfall was trying their hardest. They had a medic who was people left and right, but he was not a max in the face. So
well, the thing is, they only need to hold it for another 25 seconds, and honestly, with those numbers on the point right now, this is going to be hard for Das Anfall, because they're coming for it, they're going for it, but 15 seconds? Are they really going to pull it off?
We saw this last week
seconds.
as well, where, you know, the opposing team never brought in any maxes to fight up against.
Yeah, and you need to
MYC.
bring in those maxes, because MCY just goes, well, we've got the maxes and we've
There we
got
go.
the base. 2-0
First points
for
on
MCY.
the board. Anfall was able to take him out. Are there no medics on the A point? Oh, there is a medic. Okay, he's trying to revive them. Max is getting a little bit brave. He's rushing out. He takes down one of the Das Anfall crew. He's trying to take out another. He takes down 2. Light Assault's trying to do some little bit of damage from the top of the roof, but he's not unable to. He at least makes the Max get his way back into the base. We have some C4 being dropped at the doorways.
Apparently the German internet gods did not accept my offering of cutting my connection about an hour ago or so, and they decided, nope, 24 hours have passed, you must disconnect. So I'm logging back into the game now, while listening to your wonderful radio voice.
Mercenaries is just pulling out maxes a little bit. They're peeking out. They're trying to take out these infantry one at a time. Oh, he's getting really brave. He's following him. Oh, the medic is utilizing that crate to give himself a little... They're surrounding it with a Mag Rider, as well as they're bringing in a Sunderer. They're able to take out all of Mercenaries' crew. Oh, let's see what's going on at Heyoka.
Yep, they sure backcap them. I'm actually going into that building right now, and Mercenaries, of course, first thing I see is a Max.
Yes, and they're squad beaconing, and this is the strategy that we've seen from them multiple times. They're consistently on the offensive, which is great for them. They're utilizing the top part of this base at the A point, which is something we've seen from all of the outfits in the last regional finals. No one really stood on the A point. I think it's because you have that bulwark of defense right at those 2 main doors, and you can utilize the staircase as a high ground in order to put engineer turrets, and you can actually just see the whole entire area. Really nice. Yep. And you have less doors to kind of defend yourself from.
And Mercenaries knows. Mercenaries knows exactly when they have to stay in the base and when they need to move out of one, and this was a perfect example of that. Their timing on, you know, staying in Chimney Rock and then going into Heyoka Chemical was just picture perfect. Like, there was nothing Das Anfall could do at this point.
and a harasser up on top of the hill, which I don't think is manned.
Yeah, we've got
Some
3
scythes coming in
seconds
with
left
some
now.
rockets.
We've got, and Heyoka Chemical has just now been secured, so that means Das Anfall is now probably going to give the go to attack the base in full force. They really are making that rush, and they are already in the building, but getting in isn't the hard part. The hard part is flipping that point and staying alive, and they've already lost countless maxes. 3 maxes are down, 4 maxes are down, there's a single max left, 1 squishy. But, oh, here comes another Max's reinforcements. He's going to take out that BS Max pretty quickly, but Das Anfall is there. Got another Max. They've got 4 people on the point, and they're holding it. And Mercenaries lost all except for 1 infantry on the point. And I don't think they're going to get a revive grenade in here. Nope. They have to respawn at this point, leaving a Das Anfall with a nice cushy 1 minute 20 to defend the point.
It's something time and time again that we're always like, oh, engineers. And Mercenaries usually really great about that. I mean, normally I've seen them have 3 engineers per 1 max.
Yeah,
like they're going to try to
normally
make another rush here?
Their
With a
engineer
smaller
max
crew.
gameplay is very refined, but of course these are the world finals. This is against pretty much the hardest enemy they faced yet. And you know, like the nerves are just kind of they're going, you know, you can't have everything perfect right now, and I can understand that. And again, their maxes are going down. Yeah, just Das Anfall set up some wonderful mines there, and Mercenaries isn't getting in with their normal tactic. They're just not pulling it off right now.
Yeah, what I saw again was they had 4 maxes that kind of rushed in ahead of the rest of the crew, and the 2 that were ahead rushed into the A point, got completely obliterated. The one that kind of stuck back and waited for the crew got taken out right away, and the guys that were coming in, there was only 1 max for that buffer to tank all the to help the medics and the engineers tank that, and it wasn't going to go well for them. And it looks like we're at a 2-2. Das Anfall's able to take the point. Ooh, Mercenaries is striking the oppose with all of these Reavers. They are just taking out Das Anfall's air crew, and they're making the Galaxy have to pull back for repairs. They might even get it. I don't know. That Galaxy pilot is insane. He's consistently always up. He gets taken out by that Liberator, but the Liberator's going to go down as well. That is a
and the other
Liberator
Galaxy
for
actually takes him out. Amazing.
Anfall has this amazing strategy that we've seen throughout. We got to see it in regional finals as well. They put a squad beacon down on the mountainsides, and they drop in some heavy assaults and some engineers, and they just completely keep just bombarding the area with either rockets or, you know, their mana turrets, and they just take out these tanks who are like, what is hitting me? I do not know. And sometimes their air doesn't even catch them because they don't realize how far away they are. You know, what he was doing is he had a bunch of scythes on Tumas already, just like continually bombarding them right as they spawned those Reavers. And it looks like they're going to try to make a max push, but they got spread out. There's 3 maxes trying to make their way to the
They're
A point.
so spread out right now, and Das Anfall is up on the roofs. They're everywhere. They've got mines everywhere. I'm not sure if those maxes without any support are really going somewhere. And again, mercenary maxes without support? What are we seeing here? That's not the mercenaries. That's not the mercenaries I know.
Usually we see 3 engineers per max, and tonight we are not seeing that. I'm a little worried about them in that sense. But from Das Anfall's side, this is strategically what we've seen them do in the past. They take these buildings that are forward front of the spawn room. They start taking the tops of them primarily so they can have that high ground advantage and elevate over them and just continually bombard them. And they can also see what's coming their way. They also have another infantry that's over by the spawn room, just kind of like spotting what's going on over there. And we're seeing mercenaries just trickle in one at a time with each of these maxes, and that's not going to do anything for them. They need to bring in a coordinated play.
They're trying to get them into this building to be safe from the air, and they have to run pretty much across, you know, like open space and get bombarded immediately. The problem is they don't have any medics right now to bring up any dead maxes. So any max that dies is kind of a bit a-hole right now. And also, of course, it's just, you know, Das Anfall sitting all the way up on those rooftops. The maxes can't actually get to them, so even if you get the maxes into that point, they're just gonna sit up there outside range of your shotguns, and they're gonna shoot you with rockets.
Alright, I'm seeing, you know what, they're gonna start doing, I think they're gonna put that squad beacon down again, and they're gonna try to drop some guys on the point. Yep. They're gonna drop some guys back on that mountain ridge again, so they can get that Lancer crew with the little laser show. So we're going to see another laser show here, probably some engineer turrets as well. But I think they've already been spotted, and there's a counter engineer turret. So we have an engineer turret and an engineer turret. I love that Mercenaries knows the strategy, so they're already countering it with their own.
And the guys in their tanks, by the way, are amazing shots with the tank cannons. Like they've been like sniping at these guys up on the hill very, very well here. Sadly, that mercenary Sundra is not going to come very far against the Lancers and the
No,
anti-vehicle
he's
turret
backing
aircraft.
out. And the lightning's just getting, yeah, he's completely destroyed. The Sunder's like, GTFO. And then here he comes around.
MCY has 4 soldiers or 5 soldiers in Chimney Rock right now.
Ooh.
But getting taken out quite quickly here by this one
Wow.
light assault.
And Dasanfal's got one guy on the point near A at Tumas Skylance, but he hasn't made an effort to take the point yet. I think he's waiting for his crew, or maybe a squad beacon timer.
He actually
He's not a
can't
leader.
take it because MCY is on the point at
Oh.
Chimney Rock yet again.
Yes!
Yep, they've taken, and Das Anfall is gonna do their usual thing. They're like, whoop, here comes the Galaxy, gonna drop all those guys down, and, well, you know, shooting the building. And I'm
Uh-oh.
on the inside
The
here,
Gal-
gonna see what happens.
He was kind of a little drunk sway.
Yep, that Galaxy just dropped a few people, DA spawning on it. Oh, this is so hard sitting in this building. You're just getting bombarded. Grenades are flying in, then you throw grenades against the wall and hit yourself with it, apparently.
Yeah, and there's continually grenades. But what we see from Mercenaries is they are trying to stay up against the walls so that they don't get hit as hard. And their medics trying to revive and toss revive grenades out.
At this
Deathfall
point, by the
Heavy
way,
coming in and clearing out 2 enemies.
At this point, by the way, I have to say that it seems like the DA infantry is just that little bit stronger than the MCY infantry. It's like when you see how a DA soldier goes in there and takes out 2 people before he dies, it's pretty hard to fight against that. And now they're bringing in the Maxes, and they're bringing in everything. I mean, like VS outside there, they're just like hovering around this building. Anything that comes out gets killed, and they're gonna get ready for a little rush, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a bunch of smoke being placed down. There are a few mercenary stragglers that are outside of the base, and I believe they're just squad beaconing down, but now the squad beacon's
they
dead.
are.
And they're trying to make their way back to the point. They did take out a
all of
couple soldiers
mercenaries.
and a Max.
All of Mercenaries just got taken out by that Max in the smoke. And this is the point where, like, they need to keep it up, you know? Like, they need to keep going in. They can't just have everybody sitting in that one building. They need to bring in spawn points and such at the same time. Because DA, they can go in there with, like, half their forces. They don't care because they have air superiority.
Yep. We
But
see that mistake happen a lot. I think Kid Riot brought it up last week during the regional finals while we were watching Mercenaries, and he was saying, you know, this is the time. They need to get all of those infantry out of that A point, start taking over the area with vehicles, and we just did not see that from them, and we're not seeing that from them tonight either.
No, we're definitely not, which I'm actually a little bit weirded out by, but we'll see what the second half brings.
What an exciting first half there. We had finished 2-2. Das Anfall and Mercenaries tied. And what a match that has been so far. Of course, both teams came out swinging. You saw a big air battle in the beginning. Then Das Anfall seemed to establish a little bit of air dominance there early on. But Mercenaries was able to get into Chimney Rock Depot and get on that point and hold out and get that cap. When they got on the timer there, it was only 2.5 minutes. So it was a very, very quick cap. Das Anfall not able to respond in time. Of course, then, you know, Das Anfall was able to respond. They pushed into the point. But Mercenaries sneaks to the next base and caps the point, prevents Das Anfall from capping at Chimney Rock Depot, delaying the Das Anfall push. Of course, from there on, the Das Anfall air seemed, you know, to kind of shred a lot of the mercenary ground effort and really kind of pin Mercenaries into a corner. It made their job a lot harder. Of course, when you're getting shelled, you know, by a Liberator or a Galaxy, and then you've got to fight, you know, a top-notch infantry player, it's not going to be an easy day for you. So the Das Anfall air dominance there kind of started to swing things into their favor with the match tied up. It almost looked like they were starting to get the momentum, and then Mercenaries, you know, came out with a mass air pool of their own and shook things up a little bit. So it kind of stalled out there a little bit. We're not sure which team really had the upper hand. It looked like Das Anfall was about to take it, but Mercenaries putting up a really, really good fight. Both teams going at it there. You saw them, they're both great on the ground. Kind of almost even on the ground. You know, Mercenaries maybe even able to win there, but Das Anfall definitely able to cap the bases. So they're doing a really good job on the ground. But their air is what I think is winning it for them so far at this point going into the second half. And the question is going to be, can Mercenaries counter that? Are they going to do it with air of their own or with, you know, some kind of ground mix of Sky Guards and anti-air infantry units? They really need to do that because that ground, I mean, the air power of Dasanfall is eating up their infantry and taking away their, their hit points before they can even get into the battle with Dasanfall infantry. You don't want to go into a battle like that handicapped. So, as we take a look at the second half, let's see how Mercenary can respond to Dasanfall's, intense air pressure there. See if there's anything they can do to gain the initiative, because it really looks like it's starting to go into Dasanfall's favor. All right, guys, let's get into that action.
Feel that the Reavers are winning this, and most of DA's air actually seems to be down.
Yeah, they're kind of pulling back a little bit. They're working together in threes, it looks like. They're trying to take out what they can. Oh my gosh, there's collisions going on.
Oh yeah, there's collisions. Now at the same time, while you're watching the air game, I'm down here on the ground at point A, and Mercenaries brought in their Sundra, which is quickly, of course, being exploded by C4, because, everybody has C4 in Community Clash, and the moment you bring any vehicle close to a building, you're just kind of asking for it to get blown up. But Mercenaries did manage to get a spawn beacon down, immediately got taken out by Dasanfall, though. And Dasanfall has, they've got mines up, they're sitting on the point, they've got a max there. And all that Mercenaries really has is a Galaxy high up above the building.
Yeah, they're doing high altitude drops, which I've noticed. What happened at that beginning of that air fight was that no one had respect for one another. It just became a mass, just chaos going on. People colliding. What happened for Dasanfall in general is that they got spread out because they left their Galaxy alone. They some of their guys moved forward, some of them moved backwards. They kind of got a little bit distressed, but they were able to take over quite a bit of it. But Mercenary still has that Galaxy high altitude dropping infantry.
Yeah, and they've actually got a second Galaxy moving in right now from Ioka Chemical, which I'm pretty sure they just filled up with maxes. Because Dasanfall, they used their Sovereign starting point to take this base, just like Mercenaries did in the first half, but now it's on Mercenaries to try and take the point back. But I'm not quite sure if they can pull it off. They're losing a lot of people left and right here, and there's no medics.
But Dasanfall only has
grenades.
1 max and 2 infantry that are on the point. They're completely getting obliterated. The max is still alive. He's trying to take out
max
as many
comes in for
infantry.
MCY.
MCY has 2 maxes. They're pulling in some engineers, trying to repair these guys. There's smoke everywhere. I think they're going to be able to flip this point. Yeah, they have the 1 max is still alive and 2 supports that are trying to repair him. Another max in the building and another engineer in the back, and they're going to hold this A point. But it doesn't look like they can flip it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they've already done a back cap on Ioka Chemical. Well, back cap, I say. They pretty much just attacked Ioka Chemical and already capped it for like 30 seconds. At the same time, Mercenaries is already spawning there and going to try and amass a force to kick them out.
Wow, the aggression from Dasanfall tonight. I don't know, they ate their Wheaties, because they're just on it. Mercenaries is trying to in their base. They're pulling in some maxes.
They're
utilizing their smoke again. They're getting back onto the A point.
They're flipping the point right now. DA does not have enough people right here to push them back. They just dropped in some people from the Galaxy though, but if DA can get into a defensive position right now, they can kill them as they come into the building. That DA is actually flipping the point at Chimney Rock.
Yep.
Yep, they're doing it. Mercenaries doesn't have enough infantry here. They're sending in a few, but they're not coming with enough. And Dasanfall has a lot of people on that point, and they managed to flip it. Actually, I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, they were able to get it flipped. The Liberators that Mercenaries is bringing in, which I'm loving that they're bringing in some air. We didn't get to see a lot of that in round 1. They're bringing in some Liberators, and they're able to take down and kind of snipe out some of these infantry that are trying to make their way to the A point. I'm not sure if they're going to do another drop, but it looks like they're also taking over the mountainside and trying to take out some of the tanks. They're putting some squad beacons down, so I feel like we're going to see a big drop from them. Yep. They're already dropping a bunch of troops onto the mountainside. They're going to try to make their way to the A point.
Yeah, they have to, and they have to attack it from this close. They've got those 2 spawn beacons up to the north in the mountains, meaning they can at least drop in close to it. But at the same time, they're kind of getting just stuck a little bit. Yeah, they're spread out. They're getting stuck coming from the Sundra. With the Sundra, they have to run around those rocks, and they're running directly into DA infantry that's coming fresh out of the spawn room. And at the same time, they're just trickling in on the capture point right now.
But DA does not have as many troops to counter this, so I think Mercenaries could possibly take this A point if they make a rush for it.
It's hard. DA does have that max right there. And, you know, I mean, Mercenaries is pushing in, but that one max alone is going to take out multiple... Oh, well, no, he just gets killed by Suicide Heavy. Wonderful. Max is down. The Mercenaries rushes in the point. Here goes to infantry fighting. And Mercenaries takes point. Fantastic.
A Reaver just I think they just collided with one another. I want to note that one thing that we didn't mention yet is that Dazanfal's counter, or not counter, but their preferred side faction is NC. We didn't mention that, so they know a lot of the strategies that you're going to utilize as an NC soldier.
Yeah, that's really, really important to know. I mean, if you don't know your enemy, you can't beat them easily. And Dazanfal knows. And Dazanfal is also knows what to do, and that is go into Heyoka Chemical, where they're flipping the point right now. But MCY, they knew about this. Like, the moment Chimney Rock got safe for the VS to move on, they knew that Dazanfal would go to this base, so they're already spawning defenders here. They've got the air. And I'm not quite sure that DA is able to hold this base for that long.
Mercenary obliterated the air. They completely took over, killed all the sites, all the Liberators, all the Galaxies. They were able to completely clear it out. They definitely had the air dominance. Dazanfal had to go back, so they are pulling some Liberators, some Galaxies, some sites now, but they had to pull back a little bit. I'm surprised that Mercenaries didn't take advantage of that, but I guess they had to go back and resecure, so that's why.
MCY just resecures just now with just a few people kicking DA out. That only cost them 10 seconds, and those guys can just immediately respawn and move on to Chimney Rock.
Getting bombarded and separated a bit here. They're trying to make a huge armor push, trying to get these Thunderers in. So they have two Thunderers that are up on the road. They're bringing in some Sky Guards to help support it, as well as another Thunderer. So, yeah. So, I want to mention that Dazanfal in the past has been known for their repair Sunday crews, but we haven't seen that. So I was thinking that's what we were going to see here with the 3 Sundays, but they didn't utilize that yet.
No, I think that's because right now the Liberators are just very overwhelming at all, and even if you have 3 repair Sunderers, those Liberators can take you down incredibly quickly. So, you know, like that's something which you really have to think about.
What just happened? Mercenaries has 1 Sunday, and it was surrounded by a Mag Rider, a Sunday, and a Lightning, but they just like left him alone, and then they killed him later. But like they looked like they were surrounding him, just circling him, and then they left him alone, and then they killed him. It's just I don't know if they're teasing him or what.
Sometimes the lion likes to play with his prey before.
All right, here their armor column comes. I'm just really shocked that Dazanfal is just pulling an armor column. We saw this on the Esamir lane, which made a little bit more sense, but I guess I could see this working here. There are a lot of trees. There's long distance between this base and the next. And they do want to get some Thunderers in. The
problem they have, though, is they're moving in that armor column on Heyoka Chemical, and that is actually the wrong base, because Mercenaries are already flipping the point at Chimney Rock. But they left up that DA Sundra, and it takes them, it's taking them quite a while to actually C4 it. They still haven't C4 it yet. Dazanfal can just spawn on there. It's smoking now. It needs like one more shot from a Bulldog or for the Basilisk, which is actually happening right now. There we go, it's down. And Mercenaries took the point. So with that, Dazanfal has to do the usual thing where it's like, let's fall back and defend this base.
Oop, 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 they're squad beaconing in.
Yeah, they're bringing in some Vanguards apparently too to take out those Sunderers, but they're going to take a while to show up. And in that time, Mercenaries is going to get kicked out of this building quite quickly. So bring in some air, bring in some spawn beacons.
Yeah, they're tossing down the smoke, taking out some of these guys that are surrounding the A point. They're trying to take the area around the A point, which is really good for them. They don't want to stay in that building because they're just going to get grenaded. But Dazanfal's bringing in a Mag Rider that's continually just putting the pressure on them, so they have to move back to the other side of the A point building. And meanwhile,
Mercenaries bringing in the air.
Squad.
Mercenaries bringing in the air. Here comes the.
Oh, where are they at?
Here come the Reavers.
Oh, yeah.
They're riding out over Chimney Rock, taking out a Dazanfal Liberator. Dazanfal Galaxy shows up though, and that air needs to turn around right now and help the guys on the ground.
Mercenaries is also dropping down some squad beacons onto the mountainside, so they're going to have a couple more soldiers here that are going to be able to do a little bit more work. They're also utilizing that mountainside so that they can kind of put some pot shots down onto these infantry as well, and try to possibly take out that Mag Rider, which they really need to do. Meanwhile, Dazanfal
Mag Rider gets taken out.
Thunderer.
Mag Rider gets taken out. DA is flipping the point though. Yeah, DA took the building, no problem there. Mercenaries needs to get a nice squad together here. and get them
DA
back. They
just
still
lost
don't have
their-
a Galaxy.
DA just lost their Galaxy as well.
Yeah, but they still have 3 Sunderers, and again, Mercenaries not bringing in Sunderers. Spawning them at the base. Oh, they can't get over the bridge because it was hacked, I take it.
I can see the frustration in your voice. You're like, ah! But they're at least pulling in. Oh man, they lost their squad beacons. Dasanfol's dropping their own squad beacons.
Dasanfo lost their Sunderer, which they had right next to the building. If Mercenaries can pull off this attack, they can retake the point and still only have 1 minute left.
The A
Oh, sorry,
point
I'm saying
is
1 minute left.
contested.
That's not true. 3 minutes. A point is flipping back to Mercenaries right now.
They have no soldier. They have 1 soldier.
Dasanfo has
He's
a
got
friggin'
completely
lasher.
taken out.
Amazing. Yeah, and
He gets taken
Dasanfo
out by a
kicks them out of the
pistol, right?
building. Dasanfo has been kicked out of the has kicked them out of the building yet again. And again, Mercenaries
Wow.
bringing in a single Sunderer and no Galaxy. The Galaxies are so important in this because you know your squad can just spawn on them. You can fly them over the base, your squad spawns, and you drop them out. Bringing in those Sunderers just takes so much time.
Yes, and they're not even worrying about it. It seems like they're utilizing a lot of the squad beacons. They're dropping squad beacons down again onto the mountain, but Dasanfo has already spotted them. They're trying to make their way up this mountainside to get rid of them.
Can we get
They
another
gotta drop
resource stop,
fast if
please?
they want to keep this.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
Maggie.
gonna put down the resource
Yeah.
beacon.
Great. So at the same time, Mercenaries is, you know, they put down another Sunderer right here. Right next, actually, to the DA Sunderers. Blowing them up with this engineer, with his tank mines and C4. That's just great. That's just great. They literally drove right next to the DA Sunderers, taking them out. Wonderful play there. But there's only 3 minutes left on Chimney Rock. And we all know what that means. That means once Chimney Rock is safe, Heyoka Chemical is going to get attacked by DA. Because they're good at that. They know how to move up really, really quickly. Yep, it's immediately
They
happening.
already have a guy onto the point.
Yep, they do.
The
They've got
Charlie
a
squad. They
spawn
already
beacon
have some
right here.
beacons down.
Yep.
They have Alpha. I mean, so they have Charlie and, or actually Bravo and Alpha.
And they did it just in the moment when Mercenaries spawned all of their forces at Chimney Rock. And now they all have to redeploy and get back to Heyoka Chemical.
Mercenary does have some infantry mines set up already, though. No one has walked into them yet.
I don't think anyone will at this point, honestly.
Actually, they might right now when they come through the door. We'll see.
DA just dropping in people slowly but surely, and at the same time, Mercenaries taking quite a while to redeploy.
I want to watch someone die to the mine. Oh! He took
Whoops.
damage, but he didn't die. He put on his heavy assault shield. And then they're gonna take out the next one. Very, very nice. I wonder if he had flak armor on.
He probably did.
Yeah.
Taking flak armor against all that air is pretty much what you want to have.
Yeah. I was thinking that was probably it, not the heavy assault. But he did put the shield up right away, so could be both a combination.
MCY at a huge disadvantage here. It took them a minute. They're already a minute into the capture, and that's how long it took them to, you know, get any kind of defenders on this point. And they're just
I think
losing
they're
right now. Their
concentrating on
defenders.
dominating
Wow.
the area first, because they're pulling in a bunch of air, and then I think they're going to drop onto the A. The A point is getting contested at the moment. Dasanfo is bringing in a couple more soldiers.
Yeah, they've got quite a few people now. I mean, every second that you give them means they can drop pod more people in, and they've still got that spawn beacon up. I'm pretty sure. Yes, they do. And
Yep.
they just keep dropping in.
He's
They keep
making
getting
a-
all those points.
Mercenary is going to be making a massive push onto the A point here shortly. They're tossing in their smoke. Here's the collision. Just seeing some exchanges going on at these two main doors, which isn't probably the best door to go through, but I can see why they're doing it.
Yeah, DA now pulling back a little bit onto the big stairs down to the point. Point is flipping to neutral.
Massive fight on the top floor. DA is getting completely wiped out. None of their medics are able to keep them up. There was a lot of revive grenades being tossed out left and right, but they weren't able to keep those guys up and repair them in time. They continually just got killed right as they were revived. There's one Max trying to stay alive. He needs to avoid that C4. He did, and now they're moving
Yep.
down to the
Mercenaries
A
on the point.
where they're going to be met by
Single
about
VS
a half a
Max.
squad. The Max is taking more damage from C4. He's getting flanked from behind by a medic, I believe, and the medic takes him out. And Mercenaries is currently holding the A point. Das Anfal's bringing in a couple more troops from the side wall. I think their medic is trying to maybe revive some of them. In the meanwhile, they have one guy that's one heavy assault that's pushing onto the A point.
And the Max just takes them down. DA still has quite a few soldiers outside of the building right now, but mercenaries have secured this point quite well. So if they just kind of, I would just leave those soldiers outside the room right now and just concentrate on the point, because the moment they manage to hold it for another 1 minute 30, they should be safe at Chimney Rock.
Oh man, this is intense.
Actually, mercenaries had to pull a lot of people off of Chimney Rock. They only have 2 people left then in there. So even if they do secure this building at Heyoka Chemical, they will be able to flip the point, but they won't really be able to do anything in that base.
They won't be able to sustain it. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Das
no way.
Anfal's making another drop. They have 4 Maxes that are making their way to the point with a couple soldiers that are helping support them. They also have a Liberator and a Scythe that are in the sky, trying to
They
clear
did take
the
that
area,
air superiority back then.
trying to keep the infantry coming out from that spawn room area. Let's see what they're doing on the A point. They haven't made a rush yet. Mercenaries, meanwhile, has a couple Maxes alive. I think it's just 1 Max. He's getting taken down. He took about like 25% damage. He's jumping down to the A point, trying to secure it. He only has 25% health left. He's down. Oh no, he's still alive. He's still alive. Infiltrator just taking out the infantry that was on the A point. Now they're flipping the A point. Their Max is
A
coming
point
in to
being
support
flipped
them,
back,
trying to take out this other Max. Completely takes out the mercenaries Max, and now this is back in Das Anfal's favor. They also are taking over the high ground with the high staircase point in this double stack building, and they have secured the area once more.
Yeah, Das Anfal just on a roll right now, and they've got the air superiority, meaning that mercenaries coming out of that spawn room, they have to get the bridge, and of course the air, Das Anfal's air loves that. They're just shooting down on the bridge with PPAs, with their Liberators. They've got, what is that, a Saron harasser actually? Yeah, and mercenaries trying to get over that bridge. It's not gonna work.
We keep seeing them use that harasser left and right. It looks like they're forming up into that building next to across the other side of the bridge.
I mean, the PPA is a
30
wonderful
seconds
weapon.
left, guys. Just FYI, precasters.
Okay,
How
so
much?
we have about 12 minutes and 40 seconds left, and we are at a 4-2. Mercenaries needs to resecure this and take a point.
Through the smaller stairs, which does make a lot of sense because it's easier to get in there and close combat with your Max. Now, why would you move your Max away from the VS Max? You want to run into it and kill it with your shotguns. That's what you want to do. And they do it. That Max is going to get brought up by a medic really quick. DA being pushed away from the point right now. Still got 2 Maxes up though. Single and C Max fighting against them, going back for repairs. Revive grenades coming up for mercenaries, bringing them back up. At the same time, DA setting people up on the rooftop still of the building, shooting anyone that comes close to the building. This is an intense fight. The point being flipped yet again, going neutral. MCY on the point, showing us the power of NC Maxes once again. But at the same time, DA took out so many people with their VS Maxes, and they're now all on top of the building, pretty much. They're just sitting on top of the building, shooting whichever MCY soldier is coming over the building and the bridge. But MCY secured the point, and I don't think that DA can keep this up with just their spawn beacons.
Oh my goodness, that was an intense, fantastic battle with the freaking, the counters with the nades. It was just, and the Maxes. This was just an intense battle for this A point. Das Anfal did not want to lose it. They're trying their best. Now they got to keep this air dominance and try to rush into that A building once more. It looks like they have a Galaxy that's dropping in some more soldiers. They need to get more spawns. Where are their spawns?
They really don't have any right now, it seems.
They do. They have a
Sundra.
Sundra.
Oh, there is this.
A
Yes,
couple
yes, I
soldiers
see
that
it.
are coming in. They have about
They have the
2,
Galaxy
3 Maxes.
too?
The Maxes are a little behind, so I'm not sure if the infantry are going to rush in without them, but I think that they should wait and rush in together. Hopefully we see that happening. It looks like they're reforming outside of the building to the northeast. Mercenaries is aware of this. They're already setting up some defenses. Their Maxes are ready for anybody who's coming into that doorway.
Well, the problem is though that right now in that position where their Maxes are, the VS Maxes actually have the advantage there because, you know, they're just much better at medium range than the NC Maxes, and they can just pop into the door, shoot, do massive damage, and then just pop back out before anything happens. And MCY are the ones, you know, getting grenaded at, who are getting shot at. So they'll have to stay in cover, they'll have to kind of stay pretty much everywhere in this building right now. That is really, really hard to pull off, especially since DA is kind of stopping all
All
of
right,
their
they're going,
forces.
they're going. They're rushing in from all angles. All of the doors. There's no mercenaries on the A point. Actually, there's 2 on the A point right now. They're getting completely taken out by
Yeah,
the Max
point
and there's 2
immediately
engineer
DA
crews.
sets. Oh, and Mercenaries is just kicked entirely out of the base at this point. They got 4 people inside the building, and they're spawning on the spawn room, but they just can't get over that bridge. That bridge is just a death trap. They can't get over it. They need to find a new approach. And at this point, they're actually pulling some air, but they don't have that much time. They just don't have time. Everything DA...
In order to tie the score up so it can go to a sudden death, so they have an opportunity to win the World Finals. Right now, I'm seeing people screaming in chat. They're like, USA, USA, EU. Like, who are you choosing? Who are you voting for here? There's also a straw poll that's going on. I wonder what the vote is like right now.
Honestly, at this point in time, I'm just completely not caring about EU or US. I just want to see Mercenaries score so we can go into, like, just keep going and watching this match. I want to see, like, a sudden death between these two.
All right,
Mercenaries
let's
has
see what's
taken
going
back
on.
the air superiority, and I think at this point, Dasanfal...
It's 4. You got just that 4 minutes left.
Oh,
4
4
minutes left. Oh,
well,
man.
with that, Dasanfal knows about it, and they're probably already celebrating because with 4 minutes left, there's no way for Mercenaries to score another point. So we actually have our winners for the World Finals.
Congratulations, Das Anfal, on your
Das Anfal.
4-2 win against Mercenaries in the World Finals of PlanetSide 2 Community Clash. I'm going to put out the broadcast right now. GG.
Wow, what a match! Congratulations to this Anfal, first world champions of the Community Clash, winning 4-2 over the Mercenaries. It was a high-octane battle throughout, and of course, that Anfal came out very aggressive. They looked really in top shape against Mercenaries here, able to catch Mercenaries out of position a lot of the time. We did see Mercenaries there in the second half challenge the air supremacy a little bit more than they had in the first half, but you know, when they're doing that, they looked a little bit weaker on the ground. That's Anfal able to get the only score there in that half, take that, and then threaten the next base down the lane towards Mercenaries' home base there. So, you know, congratulations to Das Anfal. It looks like a really, really intense game, but, you know, they made great use of all phases of the game, and of course the terrain, like we've said before. They can attack from somewhere you're not expecting, right? They had you could see those heavies up on the hill shooting with their lancers there. It's just a great game to watch, though. So congratulations to Das Anfal. And, you know, not to go anywhere, we have a special guest actually here from the World Champions. It is their outfit leader, Ender. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring him in for a Skype call. Now, you know, pick his brain a little bit. Ender, how are you doing?
Not too bad, Win. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. You know, just watching those highlights there, that looked like quite the matchup you guys had. You know, was there a point there where you kind of knew that you had the game locked down?
You know, we came into it pretty confident because we've been working on a lot of stuff all week, and the Ameris lane just felt really good. But I think after we retook Chimney in the first round, I was pretty confident that in the second round start, since the South is a little closer, that we'd be able to snag that and then defend it and keep keep the aggression up on the next base.
You know, it did look like that momentum started to swing in your favor a little bit after that. You know, Mercenaries got the first points on the board, but then it kind of seemed to tip towards you guys. Is there, you know, anything that you think maybe did it for you there, that you know, started swinging the momentum? Yeah.
It kind of goes back to the south side has a little bit of an advantage because it's a tiny bit closer. It is a neutral base, so obviously you have that, you know, that initial period where you kind of have to neutralize the timer before you make any actual progress.
Right.
We actually had the stream catches it just a little bit. At about 1 minute left in their cap, we had a full gal actually coming around that mountain, and our gal pilot actually crashed, lost internet connection. So I think it took us about 5 seconds. Like, did that just happen? Okay, everybody drop, go.
Yeah, we did. I think we caught that there a little bit on the stream. That you know, of course, what do they say when you make contact with the enemy? Nothing goes, you know, according to plan.
Yep, Murphy's Law, definitely.
Right. And
I mean, at that point, I was pretty much like, you know, we're probably going to lose this base, but that's okay. We can maintain momentum. It's still pretty equal, you know. We're confident in what we can do. So nobody freaked out, which was a great thing. I mean, a lot of times I would imagine people would be like, oh my God, the world is ending, but that didn't quite happen. So
that's it. That's why you guys are world champions, though. You know, you're able to keep it cool,
there you go.
Keep pushing through. And you know, so what did it feel like when you knew? Like, what was the emotion going through?
The gal crash or winning?
No. when the not that I can imagine was a bit of an awkward silence. But no, when the match had gone in your favor, when you knew that when you made the nice stand there at the end of the second half when Mercenaries was pushing. And
it was definitely a good feeling. I mean, the teams that competed in this put in a lot of time. You don't necessarily see or understand how much time goes into the back end of that stuff and getting everybody, on the same page. Because 24 people is a lot of people to be working in sync, to keep moving the overall goal. And I think everybody was just kind of relieved, like, oh yeah, we did it. I mean, at the same time, it was really good to win, but I guess relief probably more since we'd put in so much time. It all paid off finally.
Absolutely, I can appreciate that. And speaking of the hard work that goes into it, you can see a lot of the tactics you guys use kind of are unique to your outfit in a lot of ways. I mean, with the heavy squad you had on the hilltops, the engineer turret up on the hilltops. I mean, do you want to talk about? I don't want you to give away your secrets, but
no, that's fine. Actually, I think on that F&O I gave away most of them anyways. Just I want to see more competitive teams for season 2 because it is a really fun aspect that I don't think you see in a whole lot of other games. I mean, 24 versus 24. Sometimes it's kind of hard to catch the action, but when you do, it's really something special. The Lancer squad actually came. We tried to do it on the Esamir lane against Future Crew a little bit, but that terrain is so flat it doesn't really lend itself as well quite to it. So the week before, leading up into that, the Lancer's max range is 700 meters, I think. So we tried to find a spot that was about 500 meters, right where the damage fall starts. So we were still in the sweet spot, and we figured that 5 people abouts could pretty well lock down the armor, which it seemed to do quite a good job at it. I know at one point I had gone to my Bravo leader Jimmy, and I was like, "Are you guys doing anything? There's a Vanguard here." And only after watching the recaps did I realize how many vehicles they actually killed with that Lancer squad.
Oh, they went to Talon up there.
They did,
and that's the difficult thing to counter too with the air. You seemed throughout the match to have pretty good air squad. Of course, is not second rate at all. They're top-notch guys, so they seem to be able to kind of keep the opposing air off your back. But then, in a case where you have infantry on the hilltop, it's kind of how do you counter that? As an
it is.
Team,
I was going into it. I was a little worried that their air, maybe the Shredder lib would catch them, and that would end that right there. But we had multiple beacons up kind of as security. Yeah. And most of those Lancer hits, it doesn't always work out this way, but the first hit is usually all 4 of them charging in sync, so that first burst of damage on like a Liberator or something really comes as a surprise, and it's kind of like, oh crap, what just happened?
Yeah, that cannot be a good feel. That's probably similar to when your Gal pilot crashed there on
right, yeah.
the first half.
Very similar.
But thinking about your opponents here in your pack, you had the overtime matchup with Future Crew there on Esamir, right? And then you had this 4-2 battle here in the World Championships with Mercenaries. How does going into this? Did you have to adjust differently for the different teams you were facing? Did you try out different things?
Yeah, you could say that. The Future Crew thing was definitely a slug match. Props to them. They're definitely our hardest fight yet, but Future Crew we knew functioned a lot similar like us. I originally modeled the outfit after Delta Triad from PS1, and Future Crew kind of ran the same way Delta Triad did, so pretty similar coming up against each other in that. Like for Mercenaries, the whole week before we were practicing clearing out rooms that were just full of like 8 scat maxes in there, which I think actually lent itself pretty well to the finals match. But it's definitely a little bit of adjustments, but for the most part, we tried to stay on our game plan. The mass air opener, which is basically the strategy, is Nuck knows that really well.
Yes.
Just bring the hammer down right away, destroy as much as you can. The nice thing about that is even if they know what you're doing, they still have to stop it.
That's it, they do, and it didn't seem like Mercenaries really they could in this matchup. On that note, when you're going into the you have the air pool in the beginning, but do you have a preferred mode of attack that you like? If you're going to attack a base, do you say want to go in with a gal drop? Or are you kind of going to go pull an ESF and maybe do a squad drop on the base? Do you have like a preferred?
We do actually, just because things can get so chaotic in the opening. You'll pull 24 aircraft. Well, maybe not quite 24. Some of them are just kind of delivery sites, I guess.
Yes, just eject and hop out.
Sure. The general overall plan is usually we send 1 or 2 people to the point just to kind of harass it, see what it's like, maybe get a beacon down. The rest of my not so good pilots are usually in alpha using some sort of method to get a kill quick.
Maybe a lock-on rockets there.
Right. Definitely lock-ons or coyotes for that matter. But when they die, we've got the Gal coming in behind the main kind of opener, so they can usually just spawn right back in the Gal or drop on the beacon. So either way, you know, once we lose our air, it's quickly transitioning back to the point.
Okay. Yeah, you do have to get on that point quickly, you know. And I think that's the one thing in the first half that Mercenaries was able to do. They kind of stole it from you there. You had the neutral timer countdown, right? And then they
did,
in
yep.
and they took that base. But I mean, that was excellent. It was, you know, awesome watching you guys fight it out there. So with that being said, I have to ask: are you guys going to be coming back for you know, season 2 to defend your championships?
Oh, definitely. Just actually, there's been a couple meetings for season 2 just this week actually, and it sounds like things are coming out really nice. You know, all the things we learned from season 1, not just as a team, but kind of as a competitive community. You know, here's what we can do better. Will this work better in this situation? There's a lot of changes being adjusted. The format's still kind of staying the same. The length of the timers are changing a little bit. The deathmatch situation's changing a little bit. The rules to facilitate more potential teams that maybe not be able to fill out, you know, like a whole outfit roster of 24 are now allowed to come together and form something competitive. So hopefully we see a lot more teams coming out of this, and really kind of, I mean, it's still such a fledgling scene that any extra teams, I guess, that come out of that will be good, and it should be a fun season.
Definitely, and I'm excited to see too what the teams are going to learn. You know, between the different seasons, maybe somebody's going to try, you know, that heavy trick on the mountainside come season 2.
Definitely. You know, the weird thing is, the first time we ever scrimmed, you know, you go into it kind of thinking like it's live, and then when you get your butt handed to you, you're like, oh wow, well maybe we should have had an actual game plan for this, and we're going like 24 in one channel just does not work on TeamSpeak.
No, I could probably get a little hectic. But out of the 3 maps, you played on Indar in the first round, then Esamir, and now you played on Amherst twice. Which one, going forward, do you feel the most comfortable playing on?
Kind of what I hinted at before, we're definitely really comfortable with the Amherst lane, and that's probably because I can do things like the Lancer squad there that's a little harder for them to get back at. The Esamir lane, I definitely think we could use some work on, and maybe that's just because we played Future Crew there, and Future Crew is definitely a solid team. And their air rivaled ours and was able to, you know, push that back, match that. So it was really just turned into a slug match. I think there's some more development that we could use for tactics there. I guess as far as Indar goes, we were pretty comfortable with Indar, but we only got to play it once. Howling Pass is definitely an interesting base to try and take in the 24 versus 24 situation.
That, you know, there were some great battles there on the first round there on Indar. That is quite a base to attack, I say. And but speaking of Future Crew there, you mentioned, you know, kind of how that was your toughest matchup. Did that really expose maybe some weaknesses in your playstyle, or reveal some of your strengths? You know, maybe your top, you know, 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses that you think moving forward?
You know, after every match we play, we've gone back to it, and I've expressly told everybody, you know, never, like, you are not allowed to point the finger at anybody else. If we're going to do any of that stuff, it's going to be at ourselves and what we learned, you know, from each match. Even if you win, there's still a lot of stuff you can learn. Like the Future Crew match, we tried a different style of organizing things in TeamSpeak. Tried using all 4 squads that were given to us. We definitely learned some organizational structure, I guess, that we can take going forward, just because when you play a team that good, you're forced to adapt, and it really highlights or exposes the areas that you may need work on, or maybe the areas that went well for you as well.
Okay. Now, out of your different groups, you have, you know, your air squad, you have your heavy squad on the mountainside, you've got your infantry, you have a pretty good light assault from what I've heard. What do you feel like is your strongest, you know, player, key group of players? Is there, you know, one area that stands out?
You know, I was actually thinking about this post-match a little bit, and it'd be really hard for me to pinpoint and say this one person, this one group was what made it happen, because the 24 thing is so reliant on all parts working together and backing each other up that if any one part falls, everybody else has to pick up the slack until they kind of get back up on their feet. So we did have our heavy squad, which is actually it's actually a kind of a flex squad, I guess. They'll transition into vehicles if they have to, a little more quickly than maybe the heavy hitter Alpha squad, but without any individual component or person, you know, that kind of stuff just doesn't work. So it'd be really hard for me to say this one thing. More the team as a whole, you know, works together, doesn't rag on each other, just keeps looking positive, you know, keep moving forward, keep getting better.
Okay. Well, you know, you've been there, you won the championships. If you could pick one thing on your road to the grand finals that you've learned that would help you out or help, another team out in the future? What does anything come to mind? Just like one particular lesson that you've learned?
Sure. Definitely the organizational structure, I guess you use, the leadership structure. You definitely have to have that in place. When we first started doing this stuff, I was just assumed I was going to be platoon lead, squad lead, was going to take all that stuff, assume all those responsibilities. Well, you really just can't do that if you actually want to play. And if you don't, you're down one person. I mean, you're basically playing 23 on 24 if you're watching the map all the time. So we definitely, through all the matches, learned how to delegate out certain responsibilities. Squad leader may not necessarily be the person leading that squad, but they have it just to put a beacon down. Platoon leader is generally not, even touching the squad leader. We actually position our platoon leader inside the GAL, so the Galaxy always has a dedicated gunner, and that he has more opportunities to, open his map and throw a waypoint down quick or mark something of note a lot faster than somebody that might be trying to push the point.
Absolutely. That's a great point, because you're not just a platoon leader, you're also one of those 24 guys. So,
right.
You're key in a lot of aspects. You've got to be able to get out there and frag, but you've also got to be able to lead, coordinate your team. It looks like you did a great job of it there, Ender. And, I want to congratulate you guys and thank you for coming on the show here. Is there any, last words, anybody you'd like to thank? Any shout outs?
Thanks to everybody that participated in season 1. Torx for putting it on. I know it's kind of been a rough road getting this whole thing going, but I think we've definitely set the precedent to keep pushing it now. People kind of know what to expect, so we can keep making changes and tweaks going forward. If anybody has, anybody watching this that has anybody interest in a competitive PlanetSide 2 scene, or just wants to see what 24s are like, go to ps2comclash.com and register a team or check the rules out, look at the VODs and see if it's something that you'd be interested in.
All right, Ender. Well, congratulations once again to you and to Dust Onfall, the first ever world champions of the Community Clash here in Season 1. Look forward to seeing you guys a lot more, coming future seasons of the Community Clash. But for those of you that want to find out more information, as Ender alluded to, you can go to ps2comclash.com. Get all of the info on the teams, on the brackets. Of course, with Season 2 coming up, you'll be able to, get the information there about how to get involved. And, of course, to catch all of the VODs and then, future seasons of the Community Clash, go to twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 for the North American matches and twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 Europe for the European side of things. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. That's going to do it for us here today. But remember, PlanetSide 2 is free to play, so go to PlanetSide2.com right now, download that game, get it on your PC, boot it up, and get out there and get in that action. It's an experience you will never forget. So definitely go check it out. PlanetSide2.com, free to play. And remember, all that information, ps2comclash.com. Go check that out. Get involved with the Community Clash. It's exciting stuff coming up here with Season 2. Well, guys, that's going to do it. I'm Winevitable. Thanks for watching, and we're out.